Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara, Briain. Joined this week are Rhys James, Laura Lexx and Ahir Shah, Angela Barnes, Hugh and Jonny Pelham. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Jonny, which category would you like?
Home news, please.
Lovely stuff. Your topic is home news. The answer is over 30. What is the question?
Is it, at what point does an orgy stop being fun and becomes a logistical nightmare?
Is it what words are being drummed into Prince Andrew?
Is it, how many arms does something require before I will worship it as a god?
Is it how many fish have we said the French can have?
Is it, from what age does your application to Junior Mastermind become a police matter?
Is it how many seconds Hugh was in No Time to Die?
That is correct.
Is it, on average, when you go in your handbag to get your keys out, how many tampons come flying out with?
Oh, preach.
If you're a woman, from what age can Leonardo DiCaprio just not even see you?
Is it what will Adele have to call all her future albums?
Is it how many A-levels suggest you've spent most of your life in prison?
Is it, guys, how many sleeps until Christmas is cancelled?
Is it, Dara, how many times have I tried to say I'm sorry?
Is it the number of sexual offences Priti Patel has managed to style out?
Is it how many children has Boris Johnson admitted to?
I think it's how many he's got left in him.
Is it how many photos does my mum have of her on holiday in front of a restaurant with the same name as one of me or my brother?
Is your brother's name McDonald?
Does anyone have the correct answer?
How many mutations are there in Omicron, the new variant of COVID?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Hugh. Yes, the question I was looking for was how many mutations does the new Omicron variant of coronavirus have? This is news that Omicron, the latest variant of concern, has over 30 spike protein mutations. At the time of recording, there are 22 cases in the UK, and experts predict hundreds more in the next week. Are you worried about Omicron? And I will keep saying it like that. We've moved out of the alphas and deltas into the really cool end of the Greek language, where everything sounds like a corporation that Bond has to fight.
I'm the man.
Are we worried about Omicron?
Yeah, because it feels like just when you get a handle on coronavirus, it changes. It really is the sort of iPhone charger of the virus world, isn't it?
I don't know who's doing the marketing for COVID, but it is giving us a new... It rebrands itself every 4 months. So Omicron's a new one, and all the other ones we now called COVID Classic.
Given that it's just going to be a new COVID that comes out only every Christmas, why don't we just call it the Bublé variant?
Well, this will be Bublé, and then next year it'll be Bublé.
It is a shame it's not doing more. It's just COVID, but more. The symptoms are the same.
Yeah.
I think it's 30 new mutations. I thought, like, you know, at least it should make you grow teeth on your back and come when you yawn. Let's mix it up. I'm bored.
You know things are bad, don't you, when Chris Whitty comes out? Because he looks like a man grown in a lab to deliver bad news.
Oh, Sage are back. I love the fact Sage are back. They're my favourite thing of the pandemic is that the UK science body is called Sage, right? Because whenever there's news about COVID, Sage trends on Twitter. Right, and the way that trends work is that any tweet with that in it, even if it's a link, will be in the same list of tweets. So if you click on Sage on Twitter, at any point in the year, it would be like, new variant warnings ignored by Boris. Experts say borders must close. Lemon chicken recipe great with Mac. Every time I read that, I'm like, oh, sounds delicious. If only I could taste.
I like Chris Whitty, Beam. I've got a little crush on Chris Whitty. I think it's because girls like me don't really get to date a doctor unless it's their prison nickname.
Surely Van Tam is a sexy one.
Is he?
Yes. One voice in the crowd going, yeah, I'm happy my silent shame has finally been articulated by Pelham is a hot one.
Yeah, but I like them to look tired and vulnerable.
Angela, I'm sat right here.
I do feel as though, given now that the most famous variants were first identified in sort of England, India and South Africa, we have to consider the very real possibility that the virus is a huge fan of Test cricket.
God. So can we finally ban Test cricket?
You do feel a bit sorry for South Africa, because obviously they're now on the red list.
Yes.
And the thing I think that worries most of us about South Africa, you know, being on a boycott is that Paul Simon might record another album there.
I love that album. Back
Sorry,
away.
I'll take it.
Back away.
So do I really, Dara. It's just jokes.
No, there's jokes in there, there's just being mean.
To be fair, South Africa has a cracking record in noticing variations.
Don't you think, given the time of year, we should have changed the name of the red list to the naughty list?
How is the UK fighting back against Omicron?
Well, masks, isn't it?
Masks are back, yes, the masks are back, yeah.
I'm not happy about it, OK? Because, look, I understand why we've got to do it scientifically, but when we were wearing masks, I didn't get ID'd for a year, OK? You've got to understand, Dara, I get ID'd for Gaviscon and Hubba Bubba, OK? I didn't get ID'd for the whole year, which tells me that I've got the cold, dead eyes of a war veteran. My face is like two different aged men. One, like, if you just look at me there, just there down, and she's, oh, hello, mister, I'm just a little boy. Please don't pop me balloon. Rub me on the bus, and then you go there, it's just like, I'm not paying to heat the whole street. Close the window.
They can be a horrible wake-up call, though. I put mine on this morning, and I hadn't worn it since Saturday, and I got in the taxi and I thought, has this driver been drinking?
What has Boris Johnson announced will be better this year?
The quality of cocaine?
Christmas.
Christmas, he said. Christmas will be better this year. Then when? I don't know. Maybe last Christmas, but that was the Christmas of no families coming around, and it was quite sweet.
And Christmas was brilliant last year, wasn't it? Like, I got to sit in my pants and play my Xbox rather than have a challenging conversation with my gran about immigration.
I had a great time last Christmas. I invented the Jaeger whiskey Chablis bomb.
He's saying there's not going to be a lockdown. But this is the same guy who said there's not going to be a lockdown 6 other times pre-lockdown.
Yeah.
So, as soon as he said there's not going to be a lockdown, I went out and stockpiled, OK? It was me last time, it was me this time. Fuck all of you, I don't care. Stockpiled everything. Rice, pasta, toilet roll. I got all the toilet roll. I got the cleanest arse in the business. And then I went home and did part 2 of the plan, which is I booked up all the December delivery slots on Sainsbury's. This is how I get rich. As soon as he announces the December lockdown, I launch my own home supermarket, Reece Jamesbury's. OK? That's how I'm a millionaire.
They keep coming into the front door, you sell out the back door.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
100%.
And your back door's very clean, because...
Moving on, how were drinkers in the Tan Hill Inn in Yorkshire affected by Storm Arwen?
They had a mother of a lock-in.
They had. How long was the lock-in?
And it was about 3 days?
Yes, it was a 3-day
And
lock-in.
the best bit was they were locked in with an Oasis tribute band. But they decided just to roll with it, because, you know, they're going to live forever anyway.
Do you know what the band are actually called? The band were called Noasis. What are they now being referred to as?
Snowasis.
Snowasis!
Oh, puns just keep on coming.
What I love about this is that being locked in a hotel for 3 days and you're not able to move is more like a Poirot, isn't it? And I can imagining Hercule Poirot going, one of you in this room has murdered. Don't look back in anger.
Apparently, there was a pub down the road that had a Coldplay tribute band on, but everybody managed to get out of that pub.
It's not that impressive. I mean, they were in the pub for a few days. There's a guy at my local Spoons who's definitely been there at least a decade.
Is that a bowl of soup on the table? I wonder if they got a roll with it.
Yeah, the remix to Ignition. What are we doing?
In fairness to everyone there, it's not like there was a clearly signposted emergency exit.
They all look like they're having a terrific time.
It is a case of, I mean, for many people, they hear that and they went, oh my God, that is like my worst nightmare, to be trapped for 61 hours with an Oasis tribute band. But no, being trapped with actual Oasis, that's... At the end of that round, the points go to Andrew, Hugh and Jonny. Now, we play a round called Omicron. Gotta catch 'em all. This game involves Jonny and Ahir, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's have our first topic, please. The first subject is the human body. Who wants to go in? Jonny.
My name's Jonny. I'm quite a weird man. Got a bit of a messed up body, nothing too bad. Cleft lip, webbed toes, more nipples than is ideal. I've actually got something called popliteal pterygium syndrome. There's about 1 in 300,000 of us. So it's quite rare, just about 200 of us in the UK. Just about 20 of us in London now. Just sort of walking around amongst you, being weird. Do we have any others in? We never do. I quite like my body now, but there's a problem at school, like, because kids can be mean. I remember one day in RE, religious education, we were debating whether or not God exists. That was the bit, whether or not God exists, going sort of back and forth, back and forth. I tuned out. I was pretty sure they weren't going to solve it. Then I got brought back into the room because I heard my name, and it turned out quite a pretty girl was trying to use me and my body to disprove the existence of God. Because, like, well, if God's all-knowing, all-powerful, then why would he create John? With his body and his nipples and his thing. The worst thing about it, even the teacher was like, I do not have an answer to that question. When I was about 10, I was in a wheelchair for about 6 months. I quite enjoyed being in a wheelchair. It was good crack. I'd recommend it if you ever get the chance. But my parents assuming I was hating it, right? It was like a nice, fun thing, organised me to go on a holiday camp designed for disabled people. But it was called Camp Courage. And it was crap. And the problem was, the people working there took it as their job to, like, raise our self-esteem and make us feel really good about ourselves. But the way they decided to do that, just by telling us we were brave, whatever we were doing. They'd be like, wow, that's so brave. Wow, that's so brave. I tell you from experience, guys, there are a few things worse than being told you're brave for continuing to exist. Like the main guy, he was a bellend. He was like 40, he was spotty, he had an earring, and the haircut of a man who refused to accept that in all probability his band weren't going to make it. And on the last night, we sort of sat around a campfire, it was sort of fine but crap, and he said, you know what I think is the bravest thing that you can do? It's to keep being the wonderful people that you are. But sometimes the bravest thing that you can do is to tell your camp organiser to piss off. Even if it does mean that you have to spend 20 minutes on the naughty ramp.
Thank you very much, Jonny. That leaves us with Ahir. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And it's nationality. Ahir.
So, I am British Indian, or Alpha Delta, as we're now called. I'm British Indian, but my dad is Indian, right? He's aggressively into it, too much, to the extent... My dad has lived in various Western societies for over 4 decades now and has steadfastly refused to integrate into any of them, but he's not Muslim, so no one minds. This is how little my dad's bothered to learn, right? When I was 8 years old, my dad ran downstairs with a piece of paper covered in my handwriting, and he took this paper and he thrust it towards my mother, and he said, Ulka, look at this poem that I found in little Ahir's room. Oh, he's a genius, writing poetry like this, aged only 8. He's a troubled boy, to be clear from the tone of the poem, but you read this poem, you tell me that our 8-year-old son isn't a genius. And my mother took this piece of paper, gave it a quick once-over, looked back at my dad and said, Vikram, these are the lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody. the single most famous song that has ever been written in the English language. And my dad was like, well, it's English. Why would I ever have bothered to learn that? He just said, Freddie Mercury's sort of Indian. And he was like, I'm immediately interested. But in his patriotic fervour, my dad suggested that I apply to become something called an Overseas Citizen of India, an OCI. It's like a dual nationality thing, and I took him up on the suggestion, and I applied, and I got it. I enjoy being British, but I've read the news, and I can take a hint. Right? Well, I applied, and my favourite part of doing so was the online application form. This is where the paranoia of the Indian government met the bureaucracy of the Indian government, met the technological ineptitude of the Indian government. And it is the most fun I have ever had in normal browsing mode. They started off so innocuous. They were just like, first name Ahir, surname Shah. What are your mother and father's names? Vikram and Alka Shah. And where were they born? Was it Pakistan? What industry do you work in from this drop-down menu? And what is your annual income band? How often do you wear green? You got any children or other dependents? Favorite type of moon? If crescent, why? I couldn't be Indian. If I have to live in a country that's so pointlessly hostile to Muslims, it might as well be here. It's closer.
Thank you very much. OK, at the end of that round, points go to Jonny. Come on, thank you very much. Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what is happening. So, teams, what's going on here?
Is he on the phone saying, I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you want. Would you like to be in the shadow cabinet?
That's Keir Starmer going, oh, what? I have to self-isolate again?
No, he's saying, no, there's nobody called Ivor Tiny Dick on this number. Is that you, Jeremy?
Did someone from a call centre just hang up on him for being too boring?
Is he phoning lost property to see if the end of his finger's been handed in?
He can't come to the phone right now, but I'm sure he'd love to speak to you, Jeremy.
That's his fake phone voice.
It's a man with a big platform doing nothing.
Is he on the phone going, haven't you heard? Rhys James has the cleanest arse in the business.
Is Starmer saying, I do wish one of them knew who I was?
Keir, the leader of the Labour Party. Keir Starmer, I'm your husband. Keir.
Yes, this is Labour Party leader Sir Keir Starmer. What did Sir Keir do during a speech by Angela Rayner this week?
He had a reshuffle.
Yeah, the reshuffle during the speech.
And you've got to feel a bit sorry, though, for the Shadow Home Secretary who has to shadow a woman who literally casts no shadow.
I mean, yeah, it is unusual. I mean, other jobs don't have this. You know, if you're like a, orthopaedic surgeon, there isn't somebody who follows you around when you're talking to patients going, wouldn't do that.
That is the problem with the shadow cabinet, is that they're so sort of featureless and like we don't know their names, do we? And if I want to find out about what a load of people I don't know the name of are doing for a job now, I just ring my mum.
But Rayner said, just the way politicians speak is so insane. But one of Rayner's aides said that because he, sprung it on her that she'd been gazumped. So no one speaks like this. It's politics. You're making it sound like she's been pranked on a German hidden camera show. There's camera right there. These are all actors. You've been gazumped.
That would make sense, though, because I'm fairly sure Angela Rayner is being played by Catherine Tate.
They should get
She's quite like Catherine. In many ways, she's like Adele as well, in the sense that she cannot be shuffled. If you know that story about Adele, that's a quality joke.
Do you think Angela Rayner has paid the photographer?
Why did the French government disinvite Priti Patel from a meeting about the migrant crisis?
Because she's awful.
I mean, that picture isn't helping.
I can imagine nothing more satisfying than telling Priti Patel she's not allowed in.
She got disinvited because Boris proposed a 5-point plan.
They took offence, didn't they, because he tweeted the letter, which I tweeted like a sort of love letter to Jurgen Klopp, and I'm not allowed in Liverpool.
The French said the tweet was mediocre in terms of content and wholly inappropriate as regards to form, which is really just a perfect description for Boris Johnson as a human, really.
So, I mean, is it catching fire? And is the anti-French sentiment? Are you feeling any kind of sense of...
I hate the bastards.
I think the level of just general hostility towards migrants in this country, and these migrants in particular, is absolutely baffling. Like, they're already basically assimilated into the British way of life in that they don't want to be in France either.
If he doesn't want migrants to get to Calais and then come here, all he's got to do, rather than argue with Macron, is make them think Calais is Britain. OK? So he should just go to Calais and put up loads of bunting and fudge shops and have a bloke being handed a pint going, how much? And they'll go, oh.
Do you think that Macron, because he wants to appear tough, will now call himself Omicron?
In other news, and very much my story of the week, why do young men commit crime, according to one Tory MP?
Is it because of systematic underfunding of schools, social clubs and parenting support?
No, but an interesting answer. Not the correct answer.
Is it because there's a female Doctor Who, Dara?
That's exactly it!
Oh, my God. The thing that's... Doctor Who seems such a weird example for him to use. He's basically saying that because Doctor Who's a woman, it means that young men don't have a male role model, and so they're more likely to go and commit crime. Now, look, I love Doctor Who fandom. Not one of the Doctor Who fans have I ever met was going, well, really, it was a toss-up between this and carjacking.
If you're 4 episodes into The Flux, which is the current plot line, where it's like, yes, but of course the flux is actually because there's a quantum irregularity causing our universe and other universes to crash together and be destroyed. But, Doctor, what can we do about this? We'll have to renumerate the energy fields within... That's not... No one's going, yeah, I'm going to break some windows now.
You haven't got any role model. I grew up in the 80s. I had no female role model. The only female role models on the telly in the 80s were Margaret Thatcher and Barbara Windsor, and I still can't shut down a mine without my bra falling off.
It's also ridiculous to say there are no positive role models on television, isn't it, Dara?
Yes.
I mean, it's mad.
It is.
Let's leave it.
When your hypothetical argument is based on, like, listing James Bond, who is still not a woman. And is also not a good role model for boys anyway. Oh, I remember all those kids, like, he's a murderer. Like, no!
Well, let's put it this way, he doesn't stop certain people getting murdered.
At the end of that round, the points go to Ahir, Laura and Reese. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and we'll see what our panelists can come up with. Right, here we go. The first subject is lines you wouldn't hear in kids' films and TV shows.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I really shouldn't have smoked when I was pregnant.
I'm Mowgli, and I'm an alcoholic.
Yes, I may be from Peru, but I'm certainly not carrying drugs, said Paddington. Why are you putting the rubber glove on?
This isn't a miracle. This is just a homeless guy trying to suck his own dick. Oh, 34th Street.
It's someone's birthday, and Postman Pat is taking all the gift vouchers out of the envelopes.
Come on, on, Peppa Pig. Let's go meet Uncle Eric at the abattoir.
More? You want more? This is the Victorian era, Oliver. Rashford can't save you here.
Time for Tubby Bye-Byes. Time for Tubby Bye-Byes. Yes, that's right. We're going to turn off Tinky Winky's life support.
No, Pinocchio, you're not a real boy. That's why they dropped the charges.
He says it's tubby custard, but I'm not sure.
Old MacDonald had a farm and then the EU subsidies stopped.
I'm Peter Pan, and I'll never grow old, thanks to this restorative cream made from Gwyneth Paltrow's yeast.
Hello, Pat. You've left me a little red card to say you tried to deliver it, but I wasn't home. But I've been home all fucking day, haven't I, Pat?
Bad news, Scoob! The janitor's out of prison and we have to go into witness protection!
Dora the Explorer, a girl whose name rhymes with her passion, who is much more popular than our other character, D-Defile. I apologise immediately, I'm so sorry.
Noddy just kept on nodding. He was off his face on ketamine.
Oh, the grand old Duke of York. Oh, actually, kids, no. No.
OK, the next topic is unlikely chat-up lines.
Hey, are you the Bank of England? Because you're showing me reduced interest and it's really starting to stimulate growth.
Oh, Reese, I'd love to come home with you. I've heard you've got the cleanest arse in London.
I'm not suggesting we have sex in a car park. I'm suggesting we have sex in an M&S car park.
So, do you want to stay in a hotel tonight, and tomorrow night, and for the next 10 nights? I've just got in from South Africa.
The pleasure is all mine. That's my sexual policy.
I hope you like nipples, because I've got at least 3 of them.
I used to go out with a guy that every time he had an erection, like a loud buzzer would go off.
Flowers are so cliched on a first date, so I have brought you a pork chop.
Some say my penis is like a Christopher Nolan film because it's really long and has a weird twist at the end.
Oh, it is a gun in your pocket. Fuck!
Yes, that is Lexx Africa. Because I know what women want. They want their men to smell like a systematically oppressed continent.
Do you want to come up for a drink? You do? Great. Mom, I need the bottom bunk tonight!
I have never dated online before. I came across the website when I was looking for some Nazi memorabilia.
Do you want to come back to mine tonight? Because my son's got the bottom bunk, so...
We already share so much. Same music, same taste, same father.
Oh, you're like a fine wine. The more of you I drink in, the limper my dick gets.
They call me the Wi-Fi because I'm not strong in the bedroom and I go down on you during Zoom meetings.
At the end of that round, the points go to Angela, Hugh and Jonny. That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Angela Barnes, Hugh and Jonny Pelham. Commiserations to Reece James, Laura Lexx and Ahir Shah. Thanks for watching. I'm Dara. Good night.